All good now? So, can anyone tell me what are different type of indexes in Postgres? Because there are couple of members here, so I cannot name if anyone. My screen is visible for all.
Sir, B-trees, hash indexes, list indexes, index, again.
Please mute who is not there. Please unmute who is only answering the question. Yes. Next. I think most of the people have not joined today. Only 46 participants in this session. My screen visible for all? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think I would like to put my screens here before going to start new session on that basic properties and EF tools and on sort of that. Just mute. Okay. So being a DBA developer, every should have an idea about that normalization and the benefits of normalization, because in OLTP, that is online transaction processing, we will not need duplicate data in a table because that will increase the size of the database. So normalization benefit here provide us some features like we have to reduce duplicacy in that column and table, and it is easy to monitor and manage the tables and databases, like we have to insert and delete or some purging activities, because in denormalized format we cannot pass any where clause to delete or purge the data from the table. So that is a feature that is for developer and DBA have think before going to design any databases, any documents, any application. So normalization have basically have a 5-6 type, but we think we discuss about only 3, that is N1, 1NM and 2 and 3rd and BCP. Sorry, you can say BCP, I think here by code. So that is the normalization part, and we'll discuss deeper in that. And second is that EF4 rule. EF4 is the father of rdbms. He was provided many features in rdbms. They are the 13 rules of EF4 to design the rdbms. And next is ACID property. ACID property is that is for transactions that is atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. If a data written on disk that is durable, we can take a backup and use in the future or use anywhere in the world. Atomicity means that every transaction should be atomic and that not be destroyed. I think we can say unique from the other transactions. And consistency, that is means we can say that the data should be a consistent mode before and after the transaction. If the database we are going to write any transactions in a table, so after manipulating that table, the database remains same as before the transaction. And we can say isolation is that every transaction should be isolated from other transactions. Both is different. And basic networking, being a DBM developer, we should have an idea about the IP classes. That is, we have 5 IP classes in networking: class A, class B, class C, D, and C. So basically, for IP infra, we use class A, class B, and class C. D and E for D for broadcasting, or class E for the research and development. So the IT infra cannot use the class D and E. That is exceptional. So the range of that, we can say the range of the class A or class, that is for class A, from IP 1 to 126. That is class A. And the 127.0.0.1 is the loopback address that we use for the testing of the NIC card. We can say network interface card, or in Linux we can say ETH0, that is Ethernet 0. So while we are facing any issues, we have to check first our NIC card is working properly or not. So we should have to ping that loopback address, that is 127.0.0.1. That is a loopback address. Next, class B starts from 128 to 191. So class B and class C start from 192 from 223. That is a class C. So these are the IP classes which we have to keep in mind before we go to pass any IP addresses. We have to idea which IP address we are passing and on which class the server exists. So this is a part of something like communication between the both couple of instances. We can say our environment, application, databases. So these think and keep in mind about that the classes of the IPs. And we have a couple of network devices, so we have to know about that, how they work and what are the utilization of network devices in IP infra. Like switches, we have heard about the switches, routers, and firewalls. These are 3 main, we can say the main hardware in network. So what is switches? Switches is just a bridge which allow us to communicate with multiple devices, like we can say printer, we can say servers, we can say application server, different type of hardware in that IP infra, that is a scanner, barcode reader. So that allow us to communicate in same network. Like if all devices exist in a class A, then we communicate with that switch only. If we have a different type of IP addresses like class A and class B, so we need a mediator between both the IP addresses. So that is a router. Router have a capability to communicate between different networks, like we can say class A to class B. And we can say we have a different type of networking, that is we can say the LAN, that is local area network, MAN, that is metropolitan network areas. We can say WAN, that is wide area network. We can also say that is PAN, that is personal area network. So these are 4 types of networking types we have. So being a developer, you should also know about that networking type like LAN, MAN, PAN, or WAN. So far any question? Can you let me know if you have any question on networking? Then we go on normalization and then EF code rules. Anyone please?
Sir, can you say loopback address?
Yeah, loopback address is an IP address which we use to check the network port, like we have a Ethernet port in the server or laptop or devices, or we can say that NIC card. So that is for troubleshooting, because while we are going to do some activities like copy paste and we are trying to connect with the different devices, but we are not able to reach there. So sometimes we get an error that is device is not working properly. We are getting drops between that, we can say that latencies between the network. So first while going to troubleshooting, first we check our NIC card. So to testing our NIC card, we have to ping a space, or we can type that IP address like 127.0.0.1. We can say that is a loopback address for testing the NIC card. So we cannot pass that IP address anywhere else, because this is for testing purpose. And this is also, we can set a local host IP address. By default, it adds this IP. Okay. In Ubuntu, we have this IP. While we are connecting to Postgres, we pass this IP in our environment. Hope you understand.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Next, anyone?
Sir, can you please share something about firewall?
Yeah. Firewall is a security device. We can say that is a security guard for the IT infra. If we have an infra as a, we can say a host-based environment, so we keep a firewall before all the devices like switches, routers, and then firewall. So front-end devices is in the network is firewall, because it allows end users to communicate with entire structure IT infra, like we have a printer in different floor, and we have a different data center. So we have to pass that port number in the firewall and allow in on that port. It means that if we are not allowing that port on firewall to in any application, any application can communicate with that port or that server. So that is a security guard for IT infra. We have to, every application which are running in our environment, on which port we have to allow that port for in or out, on which port we are listening, and that should be mapped with that the routers and firewall as well. So that is allow us to communicate with the application on same port. If we are disable that port on firewall, no one can ping, trace that server and that IP. Hope you understand about that firewall.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Anyone? So before going forward, this is the EF4 rule. This is the father of rdbms, and he has provided us 13 rules.
Sir, your screen is not visible.
Just hold a minute. Now, good?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So EF4 rule, we can say who is EF4? EF4 is a rdbms data modeling engineer, and we can say he has provided us 13 rules. In fact, but we work on 12 rules only, and he is the father of rdbms. So here is a rule that is a start from 0, and it is benefiting us for our transactions and the structure, and we have for scripting and designing the databases. So based on it, we work on designing part or development part. So first rule is that this rule for qualifying the RDBS must be able to manage database entirely through the relation capabilities. Means that if we have a structure, and it should have followed the relationship between the tables from primary key or foreign key relationship. So that is the capability to fetch the data from multiple tables to provide the reports. Next is the information rule. All information is to be presented as a stored data in a cell of a table. So while we are creating a table, we see that we have a columns and rows, so that make a cell. So data should reside in a cell. Granted access means that each unique piece of data, that is atomic values, should be accessible by table name, primary key and attributes. Means that while we are fetching data from a table, we have to pass these other things, that is like a table name and the column name from where we have to fetch the data. Next is the systematic treatment of null values. So we have also think about the null values while inserting a data, because while fetching a report that will be some problems with us, and primary key should not be null because it's a hard coded. If we enable a primary key on a table, so that is automatically generated we can say automatically generated column. So we have to enable the seeding, or that is based on that our requirement of the application. We can start from 1, we can start from that 1000, and the seeding level is going towards 5, whatever the requirement. We can say that if we are starting from 100 and we are seeding enabled by 5, so the next column insert by our application is first is 100, next is 5, 105, then 110. So that is incremented by 5 in each row. So the ID will be incremented by 5. So primary key is a key which automatically generate or insert data in the column as per the instructions by the application or by the enabling the features on the column. Next is the active online catalog. Data directories is a structured description of complete database and it must be stored online. So that is a feature we have. Database should be always online. That on that point we can fetch the data. If this is a offline, suspended, emergency mode, in recovery, we cannot read the data. So this is a part of catalog that is provided by system. We can have add on the system catalog that will restrict us to fetch the data if the database is not in online mode. Next is powerful and well-structured language. So you know about that the SQL that is a structured query language. So every RDBS has their own language to fetch the data. So that will follow that instructions that is created by EF code. We can fetch data like select a star from that table. That is a structure. We cannot write a table from a star or select. This is not a structure. So we have to write a totally structured query language that will provide us the exact data, and this is not a syntax error. Next is the view updation rule. So all the views that are theoretically updated should be updated by the system as well. So here is a topic like view. So the database objects have table, view, procedure, function and trigger. So view is a virtual table. So here EF code is saying that virtual table is updated by the system only. We cannot update any view manually. End user cannot change, that is we can say end user cannot update views by the command like update view, view name, where clause and these other things. So we cannot manipulate view. Do you understand what is view?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that is a view, a virtual table. So we cannot, end user cannot update that virtual table. Next is relationship level operations. So that is we can do insert, update, delete operations on multiple tables at the same time with the conditions as per requirement of environment, client or application, whatever it is. Next is the physical data independency. So we can say that the physical data reside, the physical storage of the data should not matter to the system if, say, some files supporting table is renamed or moved on the disk to another, it should not affect the application. So that is a part of data structure. We can say that if we are using MS SQL, MySQL, Oracle or Postgres, they all write a data on a disk in a format. They have a different distinct extension of that file. In MS SQL we say that MDF and LDF file. In Oracle we have a DBS file. In MySQL they have a tabular format as a DBX or it is a DX file. In Postgres we have multiple files like FMS, DB file, DBL relation. So if we move that file from the different in different location, application not get hampered, and we can say that data is not destroyed because this is a persistent or a disk only. So this is the benefit for part of performance tuning. When we have a disk problem, we can move some tables, some files from the main partition to different partition. Like so, we can say the partition of the tables, we can say the partition of databases. So that's a feature of performance tuning. So EF code has defined this for a part of performance tuning, and it will not destroy or impact the current business or current application. Next is the logical data independence. If there is a change in logical structure, like we have changing some table structure name, or we are changing some table rename and other things, so that will we can say that is the database of the user view should not be changed, because if you rename that, so that will impact on the procedure or function we have called previously, because the logical name will not exist there. So we have to think before changing where we have all this table and view or functions before renaming that. So we have to list out the dependencies before going to change or rename that database object. Integrity independencies. So database should be able to enforce its own integrity rather than using other programs. Keys and check constant trigger etc. should store in data directory. So data directory has all the information about your database object or server level object. Oracle have database data dictionary, in Postgres also data dictionary, in rdbms we have data dictionary that have a logical structure of all the databases that reside in the data directory, and that is independent from each other. So they have a unique name, they have a constant differences, so we cannot keep same name for couple of objects. So that is each and every object difference, we can say unique from the other other objects in the RDBM. Like we cannot create a two table like SQL. So that will we get a constant violation error. So we have to think, we cannot rename a table as the same name. We cannot keep two tables in a same databases. We cannot keep same type of objects, same type of object name in a same databases. We can like change like a schema, and we can say that the structure of the tables, then work. Distribution independence. Database should work properly regardless of its distribution across a network. So if we have database that will allow us to work from network to network, we can say the data, we can retrieve data from in-premise or same place, or we can say from cloud or different premises, different data center. So if that port is enabled, that will able to connect from anywhere from the world. So we can retrieve data all the inside that databases. Non-versioning rules. So there is a rule for low versioning, we can say. It is low level access to allow a system. It should not be able to sub-revert or bypass integrity rule to change the data. So they have an integrity rule. So that will not bypass, means that we cannot enforce any object to rename a table as the same name, or we can say we cannot keep a same type of check constants, keys and table name. So that will be taken care by that system. So we have completed that EF code rules. So please let me know. Do you have any question on that? Because it's totally theory part. While we have to keep this in mind before going to create or design any database, any application, because that 12 rules should be followed while creating that any rdbms databases. So please let me know. Do you have any question on EF code rules? Anyone? Okay, then keeping this in practice, just go through it and then memorize it, because it will help you to design any database or application. Next is ER modeling, that is entity relationship modeling, we can say. So relationship depend on the structure of the tables. We should common fields in both the tables, and then we can join that. So we have a couple of entity relationships, that is, we can say one to one, one to many, many to one, or many to many. There are 4 types of entity relationships, and we have a designing type, like we can see that a snowflake schema and star schema. So how we are going to join the table? Based on 2, that is for a star and a snowflake schema. Just to note it down and do some R&D on that. How can you design, or what are the benefits of the snowflake schema and a star schema? Because I'm not going to touch here, because it is part of development and totally designing part. So I think you should aware about that, and we have to work on that in future. So ER modeling that allow us to set data from that multiple tables in a we can say that in same databases or different databases, or we can say that different rdbms. So we can write a query to fetch data from the SQL as well as Oracle as well as Postgres. We can join 3 or 4 and we can fetch the data. So that will allow us in that. So we think before writing any query, is there any key, is there any common column in that tables or in that databases? So that will allow us to join that, we can say that tables, or we have to make that relationship between both the tables and databases. So there is a syntax is different while we connecting with the different type of databases. So we have to pass the server name, schema name, database name, and then the object name. So that is a big syntax. So here is a diagram, and we are going to see about that the attributes or the concept on that ER modeling. That is, we have a 3 type of concept like entities, attributes, and relationship. So how can we design that? Here is a diagram, that is, we have a entity relationship, that is very big attribute based on the key composites, and next is relationship on one to one, one to many, many to one, and many to many. So the designer or the guy who are going to design an application, they have to put some shapes in here design, like rectangle for representing the entity set, eclipse for attribute, diamond for relationship set, line for attribute to entity set and entity set of relationship, primary key, attribute and underline, double eclipse, that is multi-value attributes, dash eclipse, that is derived attributes, double rectangle, big entity set, and double line for total partition of the entity in the relationship. So just do some research on that, and I think it will help you to design new application, new databases, because it's a part of developer and DB as well. So both should have keep an idea on that, how we are going to design, what are the application requirement, and these are things. So please keep note on that and try to create a test environment, test databases, and create some tables and design along according to this concept. Okay, sorry. So we have covered here, that is EF core rule or ER modeling. So two topic we have covered here. So please let me know if you have any question on that. Everyone good now? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So this is a part of totally a practice. When you are going to practice, then we have to please keep this note and work accordingly. That will help you. And let's see some live scenarios in our environment. Like we do not have relationship entirety in our environment. So I think totally denormalized format. We are just using a inheritance partitioning, that is a virtual table partitioning, not physically. So we have a parent table and child table hourly basis, like on datetime format, because we are uploading CSVs and we are doing on RTG files. So agent read all the files on every minute and upload in the databases. So I think you have got that idea in the previous session in DDR or dashboard or whatever you have got the session. So before taking a data, just analyze database structure and structure of the table, because it is totally different from market, because we are using Postgres and it is open source and its structure is different than other rdbms. So for designing, for performance tuning, we have limitations in that. We cannot write procedures, we cannot create a primary and foreign key, this type of activities, because our structure is different. So we have a integrity level is different. And since we have a constant only on date time, so we think on date time format only, how we are going to write a data to the disk, and the partitioning based on a date time only. And we have a use table like flow path, and we can easy dump files like they are very use tables. So we have a performance issues as well. So we are trying that to normalize on database side, because application is just going to fire select statement and that will take time to compile and for planning and executing the other things, because we have done caching in Postgres, because we don't use procedures, that is a precompile. So also you have to work on that database objects like tables, views, functions. So please make a note on that. What are database objects and what are system objects. So that will help you to analyze or read the databases in the server. So I think I'm not going to take next topic, because we have to wrap this session here. Please do let me know if you have any questions till now, or we can wrap this session here today. Anyone please? So I think we have to wrap that. I think you all are good now. So please revise all the topics, and if you are going to become a programmer, you have to do hard, because normal writing a coding in we can say that C# or VB.NET, or we can say Angular or Java, that is not a big thing, but we have to know about the best practices, because we have to write a query, we have to design that application very optimal to use low resources. So please think on that. How can you optimize or write optimal queries, or we can say that optimal script to avoid some issues like memory utilization, connections problem, disk utilization, or retrying data first. So if you are not going to think on that, you write a query like a dump that will increase my task to optimize that. So I think I'm providing this session to avoid couple of issues which we have faced in past, and we are avoiding that issues not come in future. So please think on that and work on that. That will help you and as well as application, and you also boost your knowledge and the confidence as well. So thank you for joining. Please let me know or text me if you have any issues. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.